A Delta flight crashed while landing in Toronto, with the plane flipped upside down on the runway. A Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis crashed and turned upside down on the runway at Toronto Pearson International Airport while attempting to land on Monday, the latest in a string of passenger plane crashes since December. All 80 people on board the Jeju 900 twin-jet aircraft survived, but 18 people were injured, Delta said. Monday's crash follows a deadly few months of air travel. Earlier this month, 10 people were killed when a regional airline plane crashed in Alaska. Less than 3 weeks ago, 67 people were killed when an American Airlines plane collided midair with a US Army Black Hawk helicopter near Washington, D.C., a disaster preceded by deadly Jeju Air and Azerbaijan Airlines crashes in December. Delta Flight for 819, operated by Delta subsidiary Endeavour Air, departed from Minneapolis, St. Paul International Airport and crashed at the Toronto airport around 2:15 p.m. ET Monday, Delta said in a statement. No fatalities are reported as of Monday evening, but both Delta Airlines and Toronto Airport Fire Chief Todd Atkins said 18 people were injured. A child was among the injured but is in good condition, a hospital for sick children in Toronto said. Some of the passengers who were hospitalized have been released, Delta said. The hearts of the entire global Delta family are with those affected by today's incident at Toronto Pearson International Airport, said Delta CEO Ed Bastian. I want to express my thanks to the many Delta and Endeavour team members and the first responders on site. Deborah Flint, the president and CEO of Toronto Pearson International Airport, also credited the textbook response of first responders to helping prevent loss of life. Pete Kalkoff, a passenger on the Delta plane, said he didn't know anything was the matter until they hit the ground, which he described as a hard landing. We hit the ground and we were sideways, and then we were upside down hanging like bats, Kalkoff told CNN's Brianna Keeler. Images showed the plane flipped upside down with its wheels in the air on a snowy runway. The pilot of a medical helicopter in the area described the aircraft as upside down and burning. Kalkoff said he was able to unbuckle his seat belt, push himself to the ground and then walk out of the plane, but some others needed help getting down from their seats. Just feeling lucky and happy I got to give the person I didn't know sitting next to me a big hug that we were okay, and see my friends who are here to pick me up from the airport and give them a big hug, he said. John Nelson, another passenger aboard the flight, said it's amazing that we're still here. When we hit, it was just a super hard. It hit the ground and the plane went sideways. Nelson said, adding that he saw a big firebolt out of the left side of the plane. He described the scene of mass chaos as passengers tried to unbuckle themselves and exit the plane. We tried to get out of there as quickly as possible, Nelson said. Even now I smell like jet fuel. Peter Goals, a CNN aviation analyst and former National Transportation Safety Board managing director, said the Bombardier CEO, or J90, the aircraft that crashed, was built to take a hard hit upon landing, enabling the quick evacuation of passengers and crew. The crash occurred on a gusty day in Canada's largest city following heavy snowfall, but the runway was dry and there were no crosswind conditions. Icon, the airport fire chief, said winds of 32 miles per hour with gusts of 40 miles per hour were blowing at Pearson Monday, blowing snow into the air, with a visibility of 5 miles. Two runways at Toronto Pearson will remain closed for the rest of tonight and into the next several days while an investigation takes place, the airport CEO said. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is leading the investigation, with help from the National Transportation Safety Board in the US. US Transportation Secretary Sean Tuffy said on X that Federal Aviation Administration investigators are on their way to Toronto, and he has been in touch with his counterpart in Canada. Members of the Endeavour Air's leadership team, including CEO Jim Graham, are also on their way to Toronto to cooperate with the investigators. Delta said in a statement, there were many comments made. Absolutely sure taking a selfie would not be on my top 10 to-do list if I was just in a plane crash. Another viewer said, I am my private pilot's license in 1994. I didn't fly after that, as I had 2 small children, and decided I didn't need that risk in my life. Now that I'm retired, I thought about buying a vintage Piper on 140, but settled instead on a 1965 Thunderbird convertible. High mileage, but I only drive it around the neighborhood. Not much chance of flipping it, but people gawk at it as I drive by, especially when the top is down. What about you? What do you think about the issue we raised above? Please comment and let us know. Thank you for listening. God bless you. See you in the next video.